the satellites saying, Victor?
Right now, not a goddamn thing. I've lost the signal.
Hey, you know what never loses signal? Paper. All right, this route right here should take us straight to the volcano. Might get a little bumpy, though.
Let's get the show on the road.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, what's up everyone? PersNikity here, and we're moving on with the Uncharted 4 Crushing Difficulty walkthrough. This is Chapter 10, the 12 Towers, and yeah, so this chapter is actually, I'm pretty mixed about this chapter, and I'll get into why that is. But we are out of Scotland. We are now in, where are we? I believe we're in Madagascar. And what you're seeing right now, this is a new feature of Uncharted 4. This is the Jeep ride. So obviously we've never actually driven in a Jeep like this before. We have been in vehicles before, but not quite like this. You're going to be using a winch, and you can see right away how large this map is. There's a lot of different paths you can take. There's not one. There usually is one correct path, but there's a lot of separate paths you can take that allow you to explore. You can find some hidden temples and ruins and treasures, you know, typical Uncharted things. And when it comes down to it, so when I first started this walkthrough, I told you that Uncharted 4 is my least favorite game in the franchise. And the reason I gave was that I felt like Naughty Dog just got too over-ambitious. They tried too hard to make a powerful Uncharted game, and they should have just realized that the Uncharted games before this were just as powerful, were just as great. So I feel like they just tried too hard with this game. And this chapter here, this chapter and a couple others, but this chapter here is the prime piece of evidence to support that claim. Now, it's important to note that this is a completely opinionated discussion. I am a gamer that prefers a linear experience. I like there to be one specific path. Usually I don't like side quests. I just like to do the game for all that it's worth. Good example of that is something like Gears of War 4. Or not Gears of War 4, Gears of War in general. The Gears of War games are very linear. You just go from chapter to chapter, you play through, you go from fight to fight. If you want to, you can look for the collectibles, but that's about as far off from the main path as it gets. That's a good example of what a linear game is. I'm not a fan of open world games, RPGs, stuff like that, and unfortunately that's kind of what they tried to do here. That's what they're experimenting with. They made this level larger, more expansive, a bit open-ended, so that you could explore. And you know, I get why they're doing that. I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think it adds anything to the game. In fact, I honestly think it kind of takes away from the game. It decreases the momentum, and yeah, it just kind of takes away from the thrill of the story. Now, of course, like I said, this is all my opinion. If you have an opinion, feel free to share it in the comments below. But this, for me, is my least favorite part of what they added to the game. And keep in mind, this chapter is still pretty fun. The fights in this chapter are a lot of fun, and I'm going to show you some good strategies on how to get by them. But it's just this right here. And look, I mean, look at this. So I'm going to come to this spot where there's this muddy slope, and if you try to drive up this slope, you won't be able to, so you actually have to use this winch. Again, this is it's a realistic feature. If you're off-roading and you come across a muddy path, you might need to use a winch. But this is not real life. You know, this is a video game. And doing this action that I'm doing right now adds nothing to the game. This is literally a pointless thing to do, to have to do this whole winch thing. And this is something you're going to see numerous times. And so while I get why they did it, it's just unnecessary. It's just truly unnecessary. And the thing I'm really depressed about is, from what I can see, this is what they're going to be doing in the new game, the Uncharted Lost Legacy. In fact, in Lost Legacy, one of the levels in that game, they're saying is the largest Uncharted map to date. And the thing that's pissing me off is they're bragging about it. Like, they're taking pride in that. And it's kind of annoying considering the fact that so many people had a problem with Uncharted 4. Like, I'm not the only one that has made these complaints. A lot of people have complained about Uncharted 4 and have made the same complaints I have. And it's almost like, it's just a little annoying. It seems like Naughty Dog didn't listen to anybody because they're doing the same thing in Lost Legacy. Now, of course, I haven't played Lost Legacy yet, so I can't validate these claims, but just from the little snippets of gameplay I've seen and all the news articles and stuff, it highly seems like that's what they're doing. And
Forever to get to this volcano.
Patience, Victor, patience. Do you know how those pirates got here? They had to start in England, sail to Brazil, then cut back across the Atlantic to South Africa.
Damn.
And they figured all that out with paper, charts, and by looking at maps.
Shit, stop, stop.
I see him.
What do we got?
Military types poking around.
Nadine's guys?
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Looks like they found an old colony outpost.
But the wrong one, right?
That's the good news.
And that means it's bad news.
The only route to the volcano is straight through them.
Oh, shit. You do have the drop on him.
What's the play here, Nathan?
Just follow my lead.
now, honestly, the only thing I like about this long car ride here is that it opens up a lot of little pieces of dialogue that shed more light on the characters. So that's really cool. But anyway, we're coming to our first fight here. You're going to want to park the Jeep behind those rocks and sneak over here. There's going to be these two guys. And you're going to want to hide in the tall grass. Now remember, on crushing mode, the enemies have much higher or much heightened senses. So you're not going to be able to stealth this section. Instead, what you're going to want to do is let the enemies fan out a little bit. Stealth kill this guy, grab his equipment, then sneak up and stealth kill this guy. Alright, now you're going to creep back the way you came. Go back to this tall grass, and there's going to be another guy that you can stealth kill, but only if you do it correctly. So you see him off in the distance right there. You're going to sneak over to this tall grass and take cover behind these large rocks. Alright, so this guy's going to kind of be looking around in the dirt here. And as soon as you get caught, the enemies are going to all start running at you. So you see here, I tried to stealth kill that guy, nearly got blown up by a rocket launcher. But the point is, even if you stealth kill that guy, whether or not you stealth kill him, as soon as you do kill him, you're going to run over behind this wall here, and this is where we're going to start the fight. And that is because on the other side of this wall, there is a sniper, there's a rocket launcher enemy, and there's a grenade launcher enemy. And this wall, first off, this wall is not destructible, so you don't have to worry about your cover being blown. Second, all of the enemies are pretty much on that tower, most of them anyway. So that means you don't really have to worry too much about the enemies rushing you or, trying to flank you from around this wall. So that's another good sign. Second good sign is you can see there, even though that enemy shot his grenade launcher at me, it didn't really... it did some damage, but it didn't kill me, and that's because the wall takes most of the fight. Again, right there, you see he shot the rocket launcher at me. The wall took most of the damage. I ended up being okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to hide behind this wall. You're going to use alternative cover, and you're going to try to take out... Obviously, your priority here is the grenade launcher enemy and the rocket launcher enemy. So just hide behind the wall. The annoying thing about them is if you poke your head out for 1 second, they're going to shoot at you. And if they shoot at you, if they don't kill you, the blast is going to kind of knock you back quite a bit. So it's really kind of hard to get a fix on their position. But that's just what you're going to want to... It's what you have to do. And it might take you a few tries. This fight here took me, I think... probably 5 or 6 tries to get it right, to kind of find the right place for cover and whatnot. But yeah, so again, just stay behind this wall, peek around the corner, try to kill as many guys as you can in this fashion. There's going to be a couple that are just in such good places that eventually you're going to kind of have to fan out and try to flank them. But for now, don't worry about that. For now, just try to kill all the guys that are presently visible. And again, try to make the rocket launcher enemy and the grenade launcher enemy your top priorities. Once they're out of the way, this fight becomes significantly easier. So, again, those are your main threats. Now you see here I was able to kill all the guys without ever leaving that wall. You're going to see the video sped up here because I'm just going to run around looking for the right ammo. It's always wise to grab a sniper rifle. If you can find a Barrack 44, remember that's like the strongest weapon in the game. It's a pistol. Grenades. So yeah, it's whatever weapons you feel most comfortable with. But I'm going to tell you right now, you are going to want a grenade launcher for later. So if you can find a grenade launcher, if you want, you can pick up one now. You're not going to need it. Okay, I'm stumbling over my words. You are going to want a grenade launcher later, but for now, the main thing you want is a sniper rifle. So I highly, highly, highly recommend picking up that sniper rifle. Again, if you can find a Barrack 44, make sure you pick that up as well, because that's a one-hit kill on pretty much everyone except the heavily armored guys. But yeah, so there's like 2 firefights in this level. That was the first one. The second one, I'm going to show you a really easy way to get past it. So, again, you're going to want the sniper rifle probably. Alright, so here you're going to use the winch. Again, I mean, just... I hope you can see where I'm coming from. Like, this whole... Just having to get out of the car and attach the winch, it just is pointless. It adds nothing to the experience of this game. It's very annoying. And it's... Oh, it just really pisses me off. And like I said, recently they let a few journalists play a short little snippet of Lost Legacy, and apparently the level that all of them got to play involved a Jeep ride. So they're not getting rid of the Jeep. The Jeep is going to be in Lost Legacy. And yeah, so it's kind of pissing me off. It seems like Naughty Dog just did not take any input from us, and that they're just doing their own thing. And then, of course, another problem with this level, a problem with having so many paths to take, is that it's very easy to get lost. You see right there, I got kind of turned around, and I had to reorient myself to figure out where the hell I was going. So yeah.
And getting awful close to that volcano.
Thinking the same damn thing.
All right.
They found the treasure already.
So continue your way along the dirt road, and what's going to happen is if you go to the right here, you'll come across like a little well and a little hidden ruin, and if you go that way, you're going to have to engage in a small little firefight. But you don't have to. You only got to go that way if you want to get the treasure. So by all means, feel free to skip it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just trying to show you guys how to beat the game. And since that section is not necessary to beat the game, there's no point in doing it.
You know, besides books, push-ups, smoking, trying to stay out of fights between rival gangs, it's a whole lot of thinking.
But yeah, so this is the one good thing. Out of all of this stuff they did with the open-ended levels and the Jeep ride and all the paths and whatnot, the one thing I do appreciate is that they added those little small lines of dialogue, like Sully asking Sam what he did in prison, and Sully telling him about Hector Alcazar and whatnot. You know, it adds more depth to the character. It gives more backstory. It makes things more interesting. So at least there is some good to come out of this. And again, please, guys, remember, when I do my commentary, whenever I give opinions on the game, it's important to remember that these are opinions. These are just my opinions of the games I play. But when it comes to this, you know, I'm very open-minded. So if you have opposing views, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. In no way are my opinions the final opinion of the game or anything like that. And that's part of the reason I started this channel, was to kind of start a positive community of gamers where we could talk about different strategies and different opinions of the games and everything like that. So just keep that in mind as you watch my videos. Even though I tend to rip this game to shreds a little bit, just keep in mind those are my opinions. And so you're going to come to this area here. This is the drawbridge fight, and this is the second firefight of the game, or of the level. That'd be insane if it was the second one of the game. Right here you're going to find a Barrack 44, so again, pick that up. Strongest weapon in the game. You're always going to want to carry it when you can. And then you'll notice I have the sniper rifle. I told you in the last fight to pick up the sniper rifle before you leave, Now, if you didn't do that, you didn't do that. That was your choice. But the sniper rifle is going to come in handy here. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And then grenades. You're going to want to make sure you have 4 grenades. Hopefully you stocked up at the last firefight. You should have been able to find way more than 4. But the grenades are going to be the most important part of this fight. So you're going to see this is a relatively hard fight, and you're going to, I hope that you'll actually be impressed, because I was pretty proud of this one. I got through this fight very quickly. I think the whole thing took about 40 seconds. So I was really proud of this one, and I'm excited to share the strategy with you. But in order to make this work, you are going to need 4 grenades. You don't necessarily need the sniper rifle. The sniper just, you know, it's like a one-hit kill, so it makes things easier. But of course you don't need it, so if you don't have it, that's okay. Alright, so push this box into place over here. And what's going to happen is as soon as you start turning the crank for the drawbridge, that's when the enemies are going to spawn. But at first, they're not going to be aware of your presence, so you kind of have the element of surprise here. So start turning the wheel, and about halfway through, that's when 2 tanks full of enemies are going to show up. Alright, so here we go. And so get ready. You're going to want to prep your grenades. You can see all the enemies are kind of in the bed of the truck right here. So go ahead and prep your grenade and just throw 2 of them right at that truck as fast as you can, and then throw 2 more at the next truck that approaches. And if you throw them at least somewhat close to the trucks, you're going to be able to kill a lot of guys very quickly. Now what you're going to do is run over to this tall grass here, pull out that sniper rifle, and start going to town. So you're going to see the enemy, and notice how I saved 1 grenade, and that was for this reason. The next truck is going to pull up. I'm going to chuck a grenade over there, and then as soon as the enemies start getting out of the truck, I'm going to pull out that sniper rifle. Boom. You'll notice how the grenade is causing the truck to catch fire. Eventually, there you go, that truck explodes and it will kill anyone nearby. So that's why the grenades are huge here. Now I'm just going to hide behind this rock and start going to town with the sniper rifle. Remember, the sniper rifle is pretty much a one-hit kill. Now the one thing you're going to have to do is once in a while you're going to have to glance to your left, because one of the enemies might try to flank you. So you'll see how I was ready for that. Killed him before he even had a chance to fire at me. Kill that guy. If the enemies throw grenades at you, just run around. Obviously there's a lot of room here for you to hide. And now you're just going to finish the job. The enemies might try to rush you. If they do, just take them out with the Barrett 44. But now you can see the snipers are left, so I'm just going to start sniping them. And that's it. I think I only got hit by 1 bullet in that entire fight. And again, remember, the main reason for success right there was the grenades. If you throw the grenades by the trucks, not only will it kill the enemies, but it will also cause the truck to catch fire, and then the truck will ultimately explode, killing anyone left. And then, of course, there's just going to be a couple stragglers. So hopefully that approach works as well for you as it did for me. Again, I was super proud of that. That whole fight took like a minute, and I only took 1 bullet. So that was one of my prouder moments of this walkthrough. But anyway, once all the guys are out of the way, you can go back to turning the drawbridge crank. So this chapter is kind of long. That's the one thing about Uncharted 4, is a lot of the levels are like half an hour long. Sometimes that's just because of cutscenes, but other times it's because there truly is just a lot of gameplay. And this chapter is the prime example of a lot of gameplay. And again, like I said, the annoying thing is, this whole chapter here only has 3 firefights. We've already gotten through 2 of them. There's only 1 more. The rest of it is all just riding in the Jeep. And that's annoying. It's really annoying, actually, when you think about it. It just draws the game out. It takes away the momentum. It makes you lose interest in the story. And ultimately, it's incredibly frustrating. You know, riding in the Jeep, while it does, like I said, offer some interesting pieces of dialogue between the characters, ultimately, for me, it adds nothing to the experience. It's just one of those features that they added that you sit there and say, okay, but why? Alright, so one weapon you're going to want to grab from this skirmish is the grenade launcher. There's definitely going to be one lying around. And it's going to come in handy for the last fight, because the last fight is going to be in somewhat close quarters, and there's going to be quite a few of the heavily armored enemies, so it's helpful to have the grenade launcher to, what you can do is shoot them with the grenade launcher to kind of wear down their armor, and then you could just like sneak in a little headshot with your pistol or something. So definitely I recommend grabbing the grenade launcher. But yeah, so now we're back in the Jeep. Very, very annoying. I could go on honestly, I could go on for days. Oh, and what do we have here? We have another muddy slope. So what does that mean? We have to get out and use the winch. Woohoo! We're wasting another 3 to 5 minutes doing nothing. So yeah, you know, as much as I love Naughty Dog, this is not their finest work. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game looks great, and like I said in the earlier videos, you know, even if Uncharted 4 is, you know, like I said, it's all relative. So even though I say that Uncharted 4 is bad, when I say it's bad, I mean it's bad relative to the other 3 Uncharted games. But in the grand scale of things, it's still a really, really well done game. I mean, if you compare this game to any other game at the time, this game is great. There's a reason Naughty Dog is who they are, and there's a reason this game won a ton of awards, because it's still a good game. It's just relative to the other 3.
You okay? Been better. Get us out of this, kid.
All right, hang on.
Easy, kid. Easy.
You know, another thing that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that kind of annoys me is Sam is kind of a very unlikable character, because you see a lot of the times he kind of clashes heads with Sully. Now, if that was something that happened in Uncharted 1, it would make more sense, because in Uncharted 1, we still really didn't know who Sully was. If you remember, there was a part in Uncharted 1 where we thought Sully was dead, and it turned out he was alive, and we actually somewhat questioned Sully's loyalty. Now, of course, that only happened because at the time, Uncharted was not what it was. So the people didn't know how far the characters would end up going. But the problem with this is Sam always clashes heads with Sully. And the thing is, at this point, we know Sully. Like, we love Sully. Sully's one of the best characters in the franchise. So when we see this new guy, granted, even though, like, in the story, Sam is Drake's brother, to us, Sam is new. So when we see Sam trying to claim that Sully isn't loyal or Sully isn't family, it kind of pisses you off and makes you mad at Sam, because, you know, I'll be damned, Sully is family. Sully is a great character. So it's a little weird. It just kind of makes you not like Sam, even though you're supposed to like Sam.
Let's do this.
But I don't know, maybe that just adds to the character appeal, the whole character development and everything like that.
All right, let's look around.
Alright, so you're going to come to this crumbling wall.
Hey, careful.
Run over here and grab one of these dynamite barrels. Now, if you have what I have, the barrack and the grenade launcher, unfortunately you're going to have to use something to blow up the barrel. So, it sucks to have to waste a barrack round, but you got to do something. And I kind of feel like it's better to use that than the grenade launcher. So, alright, anyway, once you get through the crumbling door, we're getting to the end. We're going to have a couple cutscenes, but we're also going to have one more firefight to worry about. So, with the gate open, enter this room. You're going to see this staircase spiraling down, so go ahead and make your way down there. And once you reach the bottom, you're going to come to this kind of large open chamber. And this chamber is where we're going to where the final firefight is going to take place. And that fight is going to be kind of hard, but that's why we have the grenade launcher with us. Of course, before we can use the grenade launcher, we're going to trigger a short little cutscene that kind of sets up more of the story, and as soon as the cutscene's over, that's when the ambush is going to start. So here's that cutscene, and then we'll get to the final fight.
treasure, though.
Guys?
Coming.
Come check this out.
St. Dismas. We meet again.
So, what do we got?
More sigils. There's our boy Avery. Thomas, too. And that's,
That's Adam Baldridge, that's Joseph Farrell, and that's Richard Warren.
pirate captains.
All right, so maybe your pirate pool theory wasn't so ridiculous after all.
All right, so, let's see. What do you think the trick is here? Gotta push a button, pull something?
Maybe one of the arms, or...
Give it a shot.
Boys, whenever you're done fondling poor St. Dismas, I think you might want to come take a look at this. Trapezoid is obviously the volcano. The crown is King's Bay. We got ourselves a map, gentlemen.
Victor, you're a goddamn genius.
Hear that, Nate? Genius.
Yeah. Okay, so if we're here, this tower lines up with Avery's sigil.
Okay, so then the other sigils...
Must be the towers from Avery's time.
Well, I mean, our treasure's gotta be in one of them, right?
Yeah, but which one? I count 12 towers.
Hey, Victor?
Huh?
You didn't start smoking cigarettes by any chance, did you?
Looks like we're not the first ones here.
Alright, so as soon as you get ambushed, you're going to take cover behind this thing, prep your grenades, and a bunch of enemies are going to drop down into the center of the map, so go ahead and toss your grenades. Some of those enemies are going to be the heavily armored guys, so if you can use your grenades to diminish their armor before using your grenade launcher, that's beneficial. And then you're going to want to creep your way over here. There's going to be some guys on these upper walkways here, so just go ahead and work at taking them out. You can see that my barrack did not work as well as I hoped it would, so that's why I'm going to start relying on my grenade launcher. Now, you are going to want to kind of move around a bit. It's never healthy to just stay in one point the same time, or the whole time, because these enemies do have a tendency to move, so of course you're going to want to move as well. There's no surefire way to get through this fight. You can see that I'm taking quite a bit of damage, but I think just the key tips are just to always try to keep moving from cover to cover. Use your grenade launcher on the big guys. Now you see I'm completely out of ammo, so I'm just going to run around and pick up the first weapon I can find. Your main threat here is the big guys, so as soon as you take all them out, you're just going to have to pick off a couple stragglers. But there you go. Once you finish them all off, you'll get the audio cue telling you you're done with the fight, and now you can just... I'm going to run around and look for ammo, but I don't really need to. Sam is going to run over back to that wall, and then once you join him, that will trigger the last cutscene and the end of the chapter. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you get the chance. Again, remember to share your opinions on the game in the comments down below. And then once you're ready to go, just approach Sam, trigger the cutscene, and I will see you in Chapter 11.
Look at this.
They figured out the towers, too.
Locations, sigils, the works.
So now what?
Now what? Now we're screwed, okay? Because there's 3 of us, and there's God knows how many of them, and they have a head start.
Yeah, but they don't know which tower to go to yet.
Well, that's great, Nathan, because neither do we.
Yes, we do. Look, it's a little worn down. Right there, that's a match.
Yeah, you sure? Because, I mean, it could be this one, too.
Crap.
But still, 2 beats the hell out of 12.
All right. I'm gonna take this tower. You and Sully, you take that one.
No. No, Rafe's guys are all over these towers by now.
Exactly, so if we want to have a chance to catch them, then we've got to split up.
Sam, just hold up a second, will you?
Nate, he's right. These towers are at opposite ends of King's Bay.
Damn it. If you run into any of those shoreline clowns, you call us, okay?
See you soon.
Come on, Nate. We gotta hurry.
Yeah.